Hello, everybody out there in podcast land. Thank you for joining us. We are the Real Short Box Live Edition. My name is Donald. Down there's Chris. Over there is Kevin. And catty cornered over here is Frank. Special guest Frank Rodriguez. Thanks for joining, Frank.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me, guys.
And I'm going to do some stuff in the background really quickly. And while I do that, I'm going to have Kevin mention what we're going to be doing today and also do proper introductions because mine are short and cheap.
Oh, well, tonight, brothers and sisters of podcast land, we are going to be discussing some of the worst, terrible, awful, and infuriating sequels to hit movies. Some, they should have just left it at the first one or second one and just said, you know what, enough is enough. And as you can imagine, God knows there's at least 100 bad sequels out there, but we'll try to get through as many as we can. And you'll probably show your disgust in the comment section or even go to Donald's house and slap him just because you're so disgusted by this topic.
Yeah, I don't know about that. I'm not a fan of that, buddy.
Only 100 bad sequels? That's it?
No. I said at least 100. I'm sure it's probably 500. Who knows? There's probably there's probably foreign sequels that we don't know about that are awful. But let us begin the intros. First, let me introduce the chairman and CEO of Rumble Spoon Productions and The Real Short Box. He is a man from a humble small town in Ohio. He was the 1997 Mr. Teen Ohio. Ladies and gentlemen, he is DC for life and Bruce Campbell's #2 fan. He is the original Donald.
Thank you, everybody. My loyal audience out there in my computer.
Next, as we move to the Central Time Zone, he is the High Sparrow of Texas, although originally from the great state of Michigan. He is a learned man. He is a teacher of young people as he teaches them to master the thespian arts so they may continue a great acting career in Hollywood or perhaps on Broadway. Ladies and gentlemen, this man, he is huggable and lovable. He is Professor Chris D. Turner.
Hello. I can't see in these glasses.
It's okay, sir. You'll be fine.
What?
And last, you'll be fine. Last, but certainly not least, let's give it up to a special guest who's filling in tonight for Sweet White Chocolate. He is the Lord Protector of South Florida. He was the 2009 Miami-Dade County Cubano of the Year. Ladies and gentlemen, a man who has great knowledge, a man who knows his pop culture like none other. Give it up for our special guest, Mr. Frank Rodriguez.
For acknowledging my accolades.
Absolutely, sir. And of course, I am your humble podcaster, the Grand Master of the Jedi and Vulcan Arts, your Supreme Chancellor, Dr. Kevin.
Oh,
Kevin.
Just took them a while to get going. That's all.
They were worried. They were curious. Do we boo or do we cheer or do we clap?
You know what? I don't mind being the heel. I'll take the boo. I don't care.
We got a couple people here. Hey, Maria. Hey, Enrique. Thanks for joining us.
Welcome, Maria. Welcome, Enrique.
It's exciting because we're going to be doing the announcement of the official winner of the Battle of the Brand Icons from the past several weeks, 3 weeks actually, because there was a week that we inadvertently took off. Because
yes, there was a demon in the internet.
Because the system was not working properly, but it has been firing on all cylinders now, baby. So we're ready to rock and roll.
And that's why you're drinking some kind of apple juice type beverage.
Yep.
Right?
I got my my coconut lime kombucha. Nom 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 nom. It tastes like coconut and lime. I've got my water. I've got my light. I can light myself up. Oh, look, it's so pretty right there. That looks so pretty. And I've got my light ginger beer, which is what you're seeing, in the glass. Yeah, some tasty beverages to enjoy while we go through tonight's worst sequels. We're gonna be talking some trash, guys.
This is something a little harder than that.
Yeah, I know this might get ugly tonight.
For some of these, yeah, we might want to go a little harder than that. But rather than beat around the bush and wait till we get a bunch of people in to look at what we're doing here this evening, we're going to just get right to it, and we're going to talk. We're talking about the worst sequels, but we also want to announce the ultimate winner of the last couple weeks' Battle of the Brand Icons, and we're going to do that right now. So, Chris sent me over the files. And there was one here that he sent me for this particular thing, so I'm going to put that up on the screen here in a second. And this will be announcing the winner. So, good luck to all the finalists. The two of them, it was Smokey the Bear against Tony the Tagger. And let me put some pictures up so those of you that are maybe brain damaged and can't remember who either one of these are, because it can happen. It can happen. There's Tony the Tagger, and Tony was facing a very surprising winner. To be honest, I am actually shocked that he won. I'm actually shocked both of these guys won. To be fair, yeah,
Tony won by Screwjob.
Yeah, Tony the Tagger and Smokey the Bear. So these are our two winners from 2 weeks of battling the brand icons, and now we're going to see who wins. Hey, Janet, thanks for joining. Oh, you get to see, yeah. She's happy to see Scorch on the screen.
Oh.
And here we go. So, we are going to announce the winners, or the winner, right now, guys, live on this podcast. So, we're getting right to it for your enjoyment. And here we go. Chris, thank you for sending that video file. Here we are. And... What? No. Oh, no. No, Chris. Kool-Aid Man is not the winner.
You can't do that.
He did not win.
Hey, I made the video. I say who the winner is.
He did not win.
This is illegal.
Send me the correct one.
All right, give me a minute. I'll send it to you right now.
All right. Jesus. Cheater. You do anything you can to make Kool-Aid Man win. Oh, you're killing me, Chris.
All right. Should have it. Should be there.
Okay, give me 1 sec. Gonna pull up the winner here in a moment. There it is. And here we go. Okay, this is the real winner now officially.
I promise.
And away we go. There we have it. There we have it. Officially, guys, winner from the last couple weeks of the battle. None other than Tony the Tagger. And like Kevin said, they're great. He was great. He's eked past Kool-Aid Man. And once he did that, he rode his way to a success all the way to the end, to the championship battle where he faced Smokey the Bear and annihilated him in the votes, let me tell you. It was not pretty. Even my mom and dad, by the way, who are watching, so everybody say hello to my mom and dad.
Hello.
Hi, Mom. Hi, Dad. Basically, they voted too, but they split the vote. So even their vote didn't really help the situation. Each time that happened. Maria is not happy about this, by the way. She said that Frosted Flakes is a subpar cereal, so she's trying to live through this.
Cheerios is better.
Janet says she did not see that coming, so she's surprised. Yeah, I'm surprised too. Honestly, I'm very surprised. Frank's going to get bit by a snake, it looks like, at some point, which
Giant cottonmouth.
could be interesting. So let's go ahead and get started. We're going to start talking about the worst sequels we have at our fingertips, or some of the worst. At some point, I think we're also going to talk about worst remakes, because there are, and I think we can do like a worst and best in like one podcast, maybe, where we can combine the worst and best remakes and talk about those, or we can split them up however we want. But right now, we're just talking about the worst sequels, and we're not talking about just episode 2. We're talking about if there's an episode 3 or 4, or if you're a horror franchise, 11. You know, we're talking about something that's popped up that's just really awful. Hey, Sammy, thanks for joining. Finally.
What's up, Sammy?
I don't know if you missed it, but the announcement of the winner of the Battle of the Brands, we're going to put that up on Facebook also to officially announce it. We'll put the video up so everybody can view that at the end of the podcast tonight. So everybody can take a look, and those that weren't able to view this can see the winner, and we'll go from there. But it's going to be a fun one tonight. Kevin, why don't you get us started with I know that you were a strong proponent of this podcast. You really wanted to do something like this for a while, and the timing just worked out for us, and we're like, okay, let's do it. So what drove you to this idea? Was there a particular film, or what's up, Juice? Good to see you.
There's so many of them. Since we're doing some things that we like, I figured let's start doing things that we don't like and just get the crowd juiced up and pumped up. Like, yeah, I remember that one. That thing sucked. That movie was terrible. Plus, there were some movies I know that we argued beforehand, such as Once Upon a Time in Mexico. I really didn't like that one. It's such a big downer from Desperado, but Chris convinced me to be merciful because Chris liked the movie, so I didn't want to get upset.
I also enjoyed the movie, so
all right, 2 of you.
It's really hard to hate on a sequel that's not bad. Unfortunately, Kevin is just a stickler for everything being exactly the same when it comes to sequels, so he was not happy.
I didn't say that.
I thought it was a thoroughly enjoyable movie. Like, I don't know, like, it's like you don't sit there and be like, oh God, it's a time going by, which means that I don't think, it's not the great, but it doesn't deserve on our list.
I had the poster up on my wall in my old bedroom.
Are you a Mexican or a Mexicant?
I'm a Mexican.
It's like one of the few good lines.
It's a great line, and then he got the perfect pork dinner or whatever it was that I can't remember, and then he had to go in and kill the cook. I mean, you can't write better dialogue than that. Come on now, Kevin. Come on. Stop hating. Start appreciating. So let's pull up one here. I'm going to pull one up randomly, and I'm going to make Kevin talk about it because that's just the way I am.
Or Chris, one of us. Doesn't matter. No. Or even Frankie.
Kevin's first. Amazing Spider-Man 2. I know you saw it. Right, Kevin?
No, actually, you're wrong. I did it because you told me not to. You said, Kevin, do not watch this movie. It's so bad.
I know.
That
it is effing terrible. It is hot trash. I couldn't believe how bad this was. Basically, the villains in there were awful. I don't know another way around it. I believe we had the Rhino, if I recall.
Yeah, Paul Giamatti.
Yeah, he was in there in an iron like robotic suit, which was, I get it. The Rhino's a hard one to do, So I was willing to give it a pass because to a point I get that, but why do it at all? Why even attempt that one when there's so many other villains out there that they could do really well? Like, I don't know, the Kraven the Hunter comes to mind, an amazing villain. That's like a Ra's al Ghul kind of villain that they could have used, and they just chose to go the path of Rhino, the Green Goblin again, and Electro, who they turned blue, obviously. So Jamie Foxx blew himself, and then blew out his birthday candles because it was his birthday. One of the most poorly written superhero films I had seen in so long that if I hadn't paid money to see the film, I think I would have gotten up and left. I was so disgusted with the quality of it of just the story overall. I have nothing against Andrew Garfield as Spider-Man. I thought he was a great Spider-Man. I thought he was a great Peter Parker. I thought he did an excellent job. The only problem is that he just got saddled with such poor scripts. Even the first one was not great, but we wanted it to be, and we certainly were excited, and it certainly was I would say better than Spider-Man 3 of the original trilogy, but it still wasn't great. And then we got into the Amazing Spider-Man 2, and at this point, I think everybody realized Mark Webb was out of his element. Like, he couldn't direct itself out of a paper sack, and it wasn't working. Nothing about this film worked. I don't know what else. It's just terrible. Anybody else have anything they want to say?
Yeah, I think Spider-Man 2 was the only Spider-Man movie I didn't see in the theaters because the trailers just didn't speak to me. And the first one I was like, well, this does not look. The first one was disappointing, like you said. And so it was the only one that I'm glad I didn't see in the theaters. I'm glad I didn't spend money on it. Like I said, I love Andrew Garfield. I think he's my favorite Spider-Man out of the three. But yeah, everything else about the movie was trash. Which sucks because they brought so much stuff back into the new one, and it's just like.
Yeah, I mean, even in the first one, the first Amazing Spider-Man, when they really brought out the lizard, you wanted it to look better than animation from 10 years ago, but it didn't at that point. It still looked kind of bad. Like they didn't invest enough money to make him look real. And I think probably if we watched it now, it would look fake as hell.
I wanted that lizard to look more like the Marvel Earth 616 lizard. If they could have done that with a CGI instead of just some man that morphed into a lizard. It was such an ugly lizard. Ugh.
Yeah, it was poor writing, poor quality, and in the script and everything, and it was just nothing quite worked out the way that it should have in either of the films, in the first one or the second one. But I think the second one was by far the worst, in particular because we didn't get a third. It didn't do well.
Yeah, if you recall, they had Felicity Jones play the character of what would have been the Black Cat, would have been Felicia Hardy, but there wasn't a part 3, so she didn't get to become the Black Cat.
Nope.
Didn't they cut MJ out of the movie too?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, they had her cast, but then they cut her out.
Yep. Yeah, there was a lot of that kind of stuff. There was a lot of things at the last minute. They're like, oh, let's do this. Oh, let's do that. And I think then Sony was like, look, we got to put this film out, guys. And then they were like, well, F it. Let's just do it.
Making Bryce Dallas Howard a blonde, I wasn't real crazy about that either.
Yeah, it's weird, right? Like, they're making
redhead's a blonde, blonde's a redhead. It is weird.
Yeah. I wasn't a fan. The film's terrible. I think probably what I love best about this film, though, is seeing somebody that actually knew the character of Electro take Jamie Foxx and make him good. And we all know Jamie Foxx is a good actor, but he was terrible in this. He was Batman Forever, Batman and Robin bad in this film. This is Spider-Man's Batman Forever, Batman and Robin. That's what this is. And he was Two-Face, the Riddler, and Mr. Freeze combined. He was all of those characters. He was so bad. And it just shows to the credit of Marvel and to the credit of the writers and the director of how they could turn him around and actually make him a sympathetic, actual good character in this last Spider-Man film, which is amazing to me. It's amazing. It's an amazing thing that could happen. But I'm gonna move on from this one. If anybody in the chats has anything they want to say about any of these films, feel free to, because we're always willing to hear your opinions and little snippets. I think Mark Webb got the job, by the way, as director because his last name was Webb.
I know, we always talked about that.
Yeah, I think that's why. So I'm going to pull up another film that Kevin watched. Since we were just talking about them, I'm going to talk about, we're going to talk about Batman Forever. And then we'll talk about Batman and Robin directly after that. So, Batman Forever.
when I was a teenager when it came out, I actually liked it originally because I was so excited to see the Riddler on the screen. You know, Jim Carrey was at his peak. And so at first, you know, I thought, okay, this isn't too bad, you know, with the riddles, he's goofy. But then I thought, you know what, this is kind of get a little too zany. You know, he's not exactly like this in the comics. But I think maybe he paid attention too much to the Frank Gorshin depiction from the 60s Batman, who was trying to outdo Cesar Romero's Joker. And then, of course, Tommy Lee Jones' Two-Face was, well, left a lot to be desired. You can kind of tell he didn't really want to be there, so he's
not even in this picture. He's like,
that's true.
They put Robin in there instead of him. What's that tell you? I mean, Trevor says he honestly loved this movie as a kid, but he hasn't seen it recently, though. Don't watch it, Trevor. If you want your childlike innocence to maintain for this film, don't watch it again, because it is hot trash. I'm sorry to say, it is really bad. It is. Jeez, it's just awful. I mean, the stories are terrible. What they did to the Riddler's character was just, to me, it was just kind of disgusting. Now they've kind of bastardized him twice on screen. So poor Kevin there, because that's your favorite Batman villain, is the Riddler.
Yep, it is.
And then Robin is just, ineffectual. There was just nothing that he did that helped anything. He was just there because they needed him to be there for the story, I guess, that they were trying to tell that just doesn't make any sense.
And don't forget Dr. Chase Meridian, played by Nicole Kidman.
Mm-hmm.
I thought she was the hot of the film. I thought her hotness really made the film worthwhile.
The thing I remember about that movie is seeing the last two and seeing how dark. I didn't know the comic book at all.
Mm-hmm.
I knew the movies and I knew the cartoon.
Mm-hmm.
And so going into this movie and seeing how colorful it was, it just ruined it for me. I'm like, what is all this color? Why is this all this light? This is Batman.
Like the gang, that attacked Robin.
You have to blame McDonald's because they were upset with Batman Returns. You know, you got to do the toys.
Yeah.
And after the movie being so dark, they complained to Warner Brothers about, oh, this is too adult, it was too sexual, too violent. So that's why they kind of pushed Tim Burton out the door. Because he talked about that, how like they had a meeting that said, hey, do you mind, doing this or making this kind of change? They did things that they knew he wouldn't accept. So he's like, oh, I see where we're going here. You guys don't really want me to do this movie, do you? Well, not really. Okay. And of course, Michael Keaton read the script and he was like, I'm not coming back for this.
Yeah, he was smart. And you said earlier, you said Nicole Kidman, right, Kevin?
Yeah, Nicole Kidman who played Dr. Chase Meridian.
I don't think Nicole Kidman was in it. I thought it was Uma Thurman.
That's Batman and Robin.
Oh, was that Batman and Robin?
Yeah, it's Batman and Robin.
So Nicole Kidman was in the third one.
Yeah.
Good Lord.
Yeah,
I don't even remember her being in that.
You don't remember? She was basically like the love interest.
Nope. I don't remember a thing about her.
Also, Drew Barrymore was in it too.
I thought Val Kilmer did all right as Batman.
He was a really good-looking Batman, but a very terrible Bruce Wayne.
Really?
And that's a problem. When you and again, that was the problem with this new The Batman film. Nobody knows how to do Bruce Wayne. I want to do a film at one point that's just called Batman. Batman's coming, or Batman's going, or Batman's been here, whatever.
Batman's here.
Yeah, I want to do one where it has Batman in the title, but it's almost all Bruce Wayne, and just watch people lose their shit. Because it will be an excellent story. It just will only have the Batman peppered in moments, but the rest of it's all Bruce Wayne.
Why is it that we never see Bruce Wayne's alter ego of Patches Malone in any of these movies?
It's true. We don't, do we?
Two points, real quick. One, I don't think Robert Pattinson needed to create a Bruce Wayne character since Bruce Wayne's in the movie like 12 minutes.
Yeah.
And two, there was one person that played a good Bruce Wayne. Michael Keaton.
Oh, I thought you were going to say Adam West.
I would almost say George Clooney. Because I thought he was a pretty excellent Bruce Wayne as well. But the rest of the film is so bad, it's really hard to say that. But yeah, I mean, Michael Keaton was a good Bruce Wayne when they had those Bruce Wayne moments. And I think they had the most Bruce Wayne moments in those films. So that's why you're able to say that, because they actually wrote Bruce Wayne into the damn script. And the guy that Batman wouldn't exist if not for Bruce Wayne, and they barely put him in anything. It's just all Batman all the time. It's all doom and gloom and moody. Does anybody in the chat right now, does anybody ever want to see Bruce Wayne just smile and be happy? Like, I'm going to the park today. I'm going to have cotton candy. You know, just have a damn good day. The poor son of a bitch.
I don't think that fits with the character, though, does it?
It has to.
Have a good day.
Or he would have just ended it all at some point. Yeah, the man has to have some good days, for the love of God.
Well, that's why he goes out and pretends to be a bat and attacks villains.
For that matter, does the Punisher ever have a good day? I don't think I've ever seen him.
I don't think so.
But that's different, because I think the Punisher enjoys blowing people up. So,
okay.
That's more of a psychotic break, I think, and he's walked that line for a while. Yeah, they even had that, and what was it? It was what was it, Kevin? It was something Smuggler's Run or something like that. It was called. It was something like that. Something Run. End of the Line. I don't know. It was something like that. It came out in the 90s, I think, and it was where the Punisher was like it was where he was going to die at the end. It was like his swan song. This whole story leading up to it was kind of like Marvel's version of Nightfall. And they did that, and it kind of panned out because they did end it. And then when they brought the Punisher back, they brought him back as an angel of death, of like, so he was a ghost, basically a ghost angel that avenged spirits, and so they made him kind of like Ghost Rider for a moment. It did not work at all. It got canceled after like 7 issues. Yeah, that shit happened, guys. Let's see. So Frank says in the new Batman movie says Bruce died with his parents. He has to learn how to be Bruce again. And Frank, that's a good point. Good point. But let's see that. Maybe at some point. That'd be nice. Aiden says, "Hey Aiden, what's up?" Aiden says, "What's up, gentlemen? Kevin left his apple juice Saturday, so I drank it."
Of course he would. Of course he would.
Oh shit. And then Janet says, "I want to see Bruce Wayne commit to a girlfriend." Janet, you would say that.
Wasn't he married?
Married
in the comics?
No.
He had a child with Talia al Ghul. He had a kid with her.
I thought he had he married Catwoman.
You know how Bruce Wayne avoids marriage? He asked the woman to sign a prenup.
It's possible, yeah. Thank you, Frank. It was Suicide Run. Jesus, yes. Thank you. Thank you so much. I couldn't remember the name of it. Yeah, Suicide Run. Yeah, that was it. Yeah, that was pretty cool. I enjoyed it. So we go from Batman Forever. Let's peek in on Batman and Robin real quick.
Is that the bat nipples?
Yes.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, I'll blow up the picture here to see if we can see them. I don't know if we can. I think they might have photoshopped them out.
That was the worst Bane ever. I don't know what they were thinking. What sick individual came up with that Bane? That person that he admitted.
Well, I think he looked cool. It was just...
Let's see. Robin and Batgirl have the nipples.
They didn't do anything with him.
Bane was green because he was full of chlorophyll. Oh.
Yeah. Like, could be like his Venom. But unfortunately, it was not good at all. This movie wasn't good. Rubber lips for Robin. He had rubber lips on when Poison Ivy kissed him, so it didn't affect him, which is silly. It was just all... It was basically, if you loved the 60s Batman series on television, well then this would be your bread and butter.
If you loved costumes that looked fake, you'd like this movie.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, just look at their costumes there. They don't look
for
good.
1997, even that was just really awful. They could have done better.
This is a sequel that did it in. It killed the Bat franchise for a long time.
It needed to die.
8 years.
Yeah.
Oof.
Yeah, it crushed it. But moving on, let's pop in another film here. Kevin, Chris, Frank. Let's see, Frank. You probably don't have the list.
I do have the list.
Oh,
He
dude.
sent
He has
it.
the list.
Oh, great.
He has the list. I sent it.
Great, great. Do you want to pop one up on the? I'll put it up on the screen. You just mentioned one.
Okay. The next one, I think. Did you pick any of them? You mean?
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, this one can I pick one that I thought wasn't particularly bad?
Sure.
Die Hard 2. That was tolerable.
Thank you.
Not as great as the original, but nothing ever will be.
I didn't.
So that bar is too high.
Yeah, I didn't want this one to be on the list, to be honest. I argued against it because I thought Die Hard 4 and 5 were god awful.
Yeah.
And like, why?
There's no topping Die Hard. All you can do is worse than the original Die Hard.
Right. Yeah. So Die Hard 2.
5, the one with
Fine.
Five, the one. Which one was 5? There's only 4, isn't there?
No.
No, I thought there was a fifth one.
There's 5.
Is that the one with Shia LaBeouf?
That was.
I don't think he's in any of them.
That's Shia LaBeouf. You might be thinking of gosh, what's the guy's name? He was like the fourth one with the daughter.
Justin. There's one with Justin Long or Justin Young.
Justin Long. That's
Long.
it. That's the fourth one.
Is that the 5th one?
No, that's the fourth one.
Yeah.
That was the fourth one.
Kevin Smith and Justin Long were in the 4th one.
Well, what was the 5th one? I don't remember there being a 5th one.
And the 4th one didn't come out for a while after the 3rd one. And the 3rd one actually is really good.
That's the one with Samuel Jackson, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but I would say it would go the 1st one, the 3rd one, then the 2nd one, and then the 4th and 5th are trash, and they can just duke it out for 4th or 5th place. I don't care at that point. They're just bad. They're not good films. And it's unfortunate because now Bruce Willis is no longer acting, and we'll never see another Die Hard film.
Oh, that's so sad, his situation.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, man. Now, a lot of people don't realize this, but Bonnie Bedelia, who plays Holly in the Die Hard movies, she is a Culkin. She is Macaulay Culkin's paternal aunt.
Oh.
She actually makes facial expressions where you can see that she looks like some of the Culkins. She looks like, Rory Culkin.
Okay.
Kieran. So, yeah. I liked her in Salem's Lot, 1979. That was another good film with Bonnie Bedelia.
Just watched that not long ago. I had never seen it.
Yeah, it was freaky with the boys floating at the window. Oh, man, that was terrifying.
Yeah.
Especially for its time.
Yeah, for its time, I definitely. You watch it now, you're like, I've seen that before, but, it's still cool.
Mm-hmm.
Sammy says, still good. Die Hard 2. Frank says, Live Free and Die Hard was made PG-13, and the 5th Die Hard was in Russia. Louis says, Jai Courtney, who played McClane's son. That was in the 5th one, correct? I think.
Yeah, it shows us how bad it was. I didn't even know there was a 5th one.
Yeah,
oh, yeah. They put it out at Valentine's Day, if I recall. It was counter programming for the theaters, and it just did not work. It was like this Valentine's Day, take your love to Die Hard 5. No.
Yeah, it was interesting.
They dumped it. Janet says Bonnie was good as Bruce Willis's wife. Yeah.
Yeah, it was. What I thought was odd about Die Hard 2 is that the annoying reporter, that Richard Thornburg was the character's name. What were the odds that he would be on the plane with Holly McClane? Not very good.
Not very good.
No.
Astronomical.
But back then, I mean, they had one plane that they had to share with everybody across the U.S. So.
Yeah, everybody get on the same plane.
That's why. Yeah. Yeah. It's like the trains in India where they're all like on top and stuff, right?
It's a communal plane.
Yeah. Yeah. All right, so
I don't think how you bring a taser on a plane back then.
Right? Who didn't like Kevin? Who didn't like Die Hard 2? Who mentioned this one?
It was
that would be
sweet white chocolate, actually, not me.
So Jarrett, who couldn't even be on the podcast because he's too weak, decided that Die Hard 2 should be on the list.
Why?
It's not how this works. Jarrett, I'm calling you out right now, punk.
Oh,
this movie is good. And I'll tell you what, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood is not.
You didn't like that?
Nope. Hot trash.
Thrower in the swimming pool?
Hot trash.
Well, literally hot trash. He took a flamethrower to a trashy woman. It was hot trash.
Yep.
I cracked myself up. All right.
All right, so let's move on.
Who was the villain in Die Hard 2?
I think it was a cop.
There were two villains. There was like a colonel and a major. Remember? They were in the army.
That was
they
the
were.
DC airport, right?
I thought it was in Chicago, but it might have been DC because the actors were from Chicago. That's what was so confusing. They'd hired these actors from Chicago, but it might have been DC. Yeah,
Okay.
that's confusing.
That I don't know.
Yeah, but I remember he tore up his parking ticket at the end. That was nice.
Something we all wish we could do.
Yeah, just tear up the parking ticket.
Yes, I'm gonna tear that ticket up. All right, I've got one here since let's see here. Since Kevin loves action films so much, let's talk about a more recent one. Let's talk about Wonder Woman 1984.
I'm bowing out of this one because it's going to make me throw up.
You know, believe it or not, I watched it over the weekend, I guess subconsciously in preparation for this. It's bad. It's not as bad as I thought it was going to be because at least Donald prepared me for it. But the biggest problem with this movie is it's too long. It's 2.5 hours long, number one. You could have cut at least a half an hour for it. It took 40 minutes for the movie to actually get going. They start out on the island. They're having this weird Amazonian Olympics thing.
Yeah.
And then, then they go into the present day, and then you see, Oberyn Martell, he's playing, Maxwell Lord. And it's kind of weird how he gets his abilities. It's like, okay, this is how they're going to do Maxwell Lord. That's interesting. Okay. Yeah. And then Cheetah. Kind of interesting, but just not well executed. And I don't blame the SNL actress, right? Her name escapes me at the moment.
Kristen Wiig.
I don't blame her. I blame the script. I blame, I don't know what they're trying to do. It could have worked if it was just better executed. And it was about a half an hour shorter. Now, it was cool to see the little cameo at the end, because I was about to turn it off during the credits, of seeing the original Wonder Woman, Linda Carter. That was cool. I
put her in it, yeah.
Yeah, but you know what would have been nice if she would have got to make a cameo in the good one.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
I would
Instead of the worst,
Pascal to grant
one of the
all
worst
of my
super
wishes while his head is about to explode.
Yeah.
I knew this was a bad movie when I was watching it with my older brother and my dad and I were sitting together watching this movie. At one point, I fell asleep. And then I look over, and my dad is snoring, sleeping soundly. My brother is sleeping soundly. His dog is sleeping soundly, and his wife is sleeping soundly. We all fell asleep watching this movie.
Wow.
That's when I knew, yep, this is a piece of trash.
Something was hot trash.
Because the biggest issue is it's too long. Like, it could have been an hour shorter and have been a much better movie.
Yes, I took a date to that movie, and nothing good happened afterwards.
Wow, it was that bad?
She's like, you brought me to this crap. Never seeing you again.
Yeah, she was like, you picked this. That means you have terrible taste.
Terrible taste.
The relationship did not last long after that. I'll tell you much.
Wow.
Sad.
Damn. A movie so bad it ended a relationship. How about that?
Before it even started.
They should put that as a tagline for the film. It'd probably sell more tickets.
Yeah. If your relationship is on the rocks, I recommend not seeing Wonder Woman.
Didn't it also end the relationship with the director and Disney for Star Wars?
Yeah, I believe it did.
Bad stuff, man. There's certain movies you just got to stay away from them. They're like poison.
Yeah, because she was writing. She wrote part of this script too, if I recall, correct?
Patty Jenkins?
Yeah. Yeah. And don't get me wrong, Warner Brothers is notoriously bad because they like to put their fingers in all the pies. They like not just one finger, by the way. They just don't one finger your pie. They all finger your pie. Everybody puts all of their fingers, usually 10 of their fingers, in your pie. And then by the end, you don't even have a top to the pie because they've fingered it so much. It's just all all fruit in
Warner
a
Brothers,
crust.
take your hands out of the cookie jar, please. Take those those extra hands out of the cookie jar.
I can't count anymore on my fingers and toes, or yours, or Chris's, or Frank's, how many times Warner Brothers has stepped in and done this and ruined things because for that exact reason. They ruin things.
Yeah.
I think that's why James Gunn is so successful, because he's like, nope.
Yeah, he's Christopher Nolan it right now. Christopher Nolan's like, look, I will not have anybody.
Creative control.
Right. I will not have anybody stepping in and looking at my stuff. And that might change now that we've seen Tenet, because that was really bad. But who knows? I mean, you know, he might still have enough clout that they'll be like, okay, he had one bad one out of 10. Let's still let him do what he wants. We'll see. We'll see how that pans out. But for now, you know, we don't know. But this movie here, this movie could have ended a lot of careers. This movie was actually, they should be thankful that the pandemic hit, so they had a reason to release it on the internet, streaming, and in the theaters, because I don't think it would have done well regardless, and it would have looked much worse. Now it's seen as a casualty of the pandemic, but had there not been a pandemic, it would have just been seen as a tragedy of a failed career for Patty. And I think that it might have saved her career having it put directly to HBO and into theaters, because they can say, well, that's why it didn't make as much money as we thought it would.
You see, this is the reason that the Mandalorian wears a mask, because he doesn't want to be seen like as the guy from Wonder Woman 1984.
Yeah, making strange faces.
Or he got his face crushed in the Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, guys had some good luck. Louis says it's like watching Superman Returns all over again.
Oh, boy. Hey, Donald, I got another movie to go to talk about that probably ended some careers before they even got started.
Sure. Hit me. I'll bring it up.
Mortal Kombat Annihilation.
Oof. Okay, so I'm currently working my way through the new one, the one that came out last year, I think.
That wasn't too bad.
It's definitely the best out of the three.
Not too bad.
It's not bad. It's just weird.
Yeah.
They're still doing this whole, we have to do a Battle for the Worlds tournament in this alternate dimension type thing, and I just feel like that's not necessary.
Well, that's what the story is, though.
That's the story is about, though.
Change it.
Okay.
That's what it was in the book. It's what it was in the video game. It's like what it is.
Change it. Why? Why do they have to keep with something that hasn't been working? Just change.
Because it's called Mortal Kombat.
Yeah, Mortal Kombat. You can have Mortal Kombat. You can have Mortal Kombat anywhere. It's basically Jean-Claude Van Damme. Any Jean-Claude Van Damme movie from the 80s is what Mortal Kombat is about.
Yeah, but then how can you explain all these different people from all these different dimensions? How do you explain these different types of people?
Mutants.
Like a guy, like a reptile that fights like a ninja. I mean...
You don't need him to actually be a reptile. That's twice now that they've made Reptile an actual reptile. He doesn't need to be a reptile.
Well, he is a reptile.
No. Make him like V, like the reptile creature aliens from V. And then you have... See? Just let me write it. That's all I'm asking. And you guys will like it. Don't worry.
If you want good Mortal Kombat, watch the 2 animated films that have come out. Those are really good, actually.
Yeah?
Yeah, they're probably, in my opinion, the best. It's kind of like the Resident Evil movies. Like, they have the animated films that are really good. And I guess DC, too. Like, all the Justice League animated series are really good. Mortal Kombat cartoons, very good. The movies, I don't know if it's an issue with the computer graphics and stuff. And so budget, and then so they cut down on a good writer or what. But I don't know.
Yeah, they didn't do another pass on the script.
But Mortal Kombat was enjoyable. It was fun. It was, if you go in expecting that it's not going to win any Emmys or Grammys or Oscars or any other awards, then you can enjoy yourself. It's fun. The Sub-Zero stuff, kind of fun.
Yeah, Frank, I agree. Frank Huff is saying, I enjoyed the new Mortal Kombat and the fact it had an R rating. I did like the opening, when they were in, I'm assuming Japan.
Ancient Japan, yeah. And
Sub-Zero came to attack and stuff. They switched it up a little bit because So far, what I'm watching, Kano in the original 90s Mortal Kombat was a straight up piece of hot trash that we knew was a villain right away. And this one, Kano has villainous aspects to him, but he also does some things that's honorable, which is interesting how they did that. In Sub-Zero,
just you wait.
In Sub-Zero, in the original, didn't have much to work with, didn't do much, and in this one they fleshed him out a little more. They made him kind of like one of the henchmen in a way, but like a strong, powerful henchman that will go after people and destroy contenders for Mortal Kombat. So that was interesting, and I enjoyed that. Now, and I don't want to give away the ending for those that haven't seen it because it just hasn't even been a year, or maybe it's been a year exactly since it's come out. But with the pandemic, a lot of films don't get released in certain times and stuff. So unless everybody's seen it, I don't want to reveal the ending or talk about that. But I think overall it's an enjoyable film. But the sequel to the 90s?
Yeah, this is, you know what? The first thing that upset me about this movie when it came out, we got a bootleg rated, no offense to James Remar. We get a bootleg Sonya Blade. And we get a bootleg Johnny Cage. It's like they replaced like three actors. Like I hate to say it, they all look terrible. They're terrible. And then Shao Kahn, you know, at the end of the first movie, he looked really badass. You weak, pathetic fools, I'll come for your souls. Then you see the sequels, like, really, this guy? Are you serious?
Yeah.
See, the first one at least had a decent cast. It was a terrible movie, but it had a good cast, and the fight scenes were cool.
Yeah.
In the second one, they just it was like, I don't know what it was. Was it a made for video? Was it a movie? Was it even going to theaters?
No, it did. It went to theaters.
Yeah, it did go to theaters. I saw it in a theater, and I didn't want to.
Me too, and I was pissed.
It was really bad.
4% on Rotten Tomatoes. 4%. That tells you everything you need to know.
Yeah, probably one of the worst rated films on Rotten Tomatoes.
And a poor Talisa Soto. She goes from a James Bond movie to a decent Mortal Kombat movie to a terrible sequel, and after that, you don't see her much anymore.
No. Enrique says, did you know that Pedro Pascal was also in the 2011 failed Wonder Woman pilot that never aired?
Oh, really? Interesting.
That is interesting. I did not know that.
Things come full circle.
I don't think I saw the failed pilot that never aired. Oftentimes you can grab those failed pilots, like Bionic Woman.
At conventions.
Was one. There was a few other ones that failed. I would like to see the Lock and Key pilot that failed before Netflix took it, and then just I just found out recently that they decided they're only going to do 3 seasons of Lock and Key. This 3rd season will be its last. I'm a little disappointed in it because there's so much potential for that series, and I feel like it's being written into a corner, unfortunately.
I want to see the original non-aired pilot of Game of Thrones. That's what I want to see. The one.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, I heard it was awful. I heard it was so bad. I want to see that too.
All right, let's talk about another one. Chris, let's hear one from you.
Hold on, let me bring up the list. All right, let's talk about a little horror. Let's go a little horror here. Let's talk about our favorite skin-loving serial killer, Michael Myers.
All right.
We'll talk about. Kevin and I were having an argument of which Halloween was the worst one, because I always thought it was Curse of Michael Myers, but he said it was Halloween Resurrection.
Yes, because reason being, I would have agreed with you had I not seen the producer's cut of Halloween 6. It's called Halloween 666, the producer's cut, and interestingly enough, it is Paul Rudd's very first movie. He actually shot it before Clueless.
So we've got Halloween, the Curse of Michael Myers, and then Resurrection.
Yeah,
and then Halloween, the Curse of Michael Myers is actually had a director's cut called Halloween 666.
66, yes. Halloween 666, the producer's cut.
Okay, I might have a picture for that too.
Yep, I gave that to you.
Okay.
That's Resurrection.
Yeah, I mean, I just went and watched since Halloween time. I went back. I'd never seen the movie, so I went back and watched all of them. And yeah, I couldn't get through Curse of Michael Myers. It was so bad. It was just it didn't make sense, and it was just I don't know. At Resurrection, at least, I didn't think about turning it off 14 times. I knew it was bad, but it was just like, well, I'm just gonna get through this. But Curse of Michael Myers, it took me like 3 weeks to get through it.
Now, when I was told to watch Halloween when I was younger, I watched the first one, and then I was told to watch the second, skip the third, go to the fourth, and then the fifth, and that was it. Like, I don't think anybody told me to go to the sixth or beyond. I may have watched the sixth, and they said it starts to go downhill from there. But I don't remember either of these films being all that terrible, because I don't remember any of the films being all that good.
That's true.
It's interesting.
True.
I didn't really think, wow, this is the greatest like horror movie in the world. I was like, okay, I mean, I guess I can see why some people like this, but I'm not like, this isn't becoming like my favorite like scary movie franchise ever. It was enjoyable, I guess. Jamie Lee Curtis annoys the hell out of me, but I agree with you, Donald. But I think that's why I felt like those two were so bad to me, because
let's face it.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
It was going to go downhill. John Carpenter made those films what they were, the first two.
Let me ask you. John Carpenter makes Halloween, and then he makes Halloween 2, right?
Yes.
Well, he wrote it. He didn't direct it. But
Okay. Why couldn't he have at least written a Big Trouble in Little China sequel?
I don't know. Good question.
I think it was because he knew he couldn't make it anywhere near as good as the original. Look at Steven Spielberg in E.T. He knew full well that his sequel would never do the original justice, not even close. And I think maybe John Carpenter had an epiphany after the Halloween movies. And he said, I'm not going to do that to Big Trouble in Little China.
Perhaps that's true. That's true. Could be true to a point, because it was a fantastic film. Probably my favorite.
E.T. wasn't it called Mac and Me?
Mac and Me.
Now you want to talk about Mac and Me and Paul Rudd.
Oh boy.
He has tormented Conan O'Brien. I just recently watched. Conan O'Brien left his own show and started a podcast. And Paul Rudd got on the podcast and was going to show a clip, because they were actually recording the podcast for video. And he tricked him again and played a clip of Mac and Me. He did it again.
It's got to be at least 20 times now.
He got Conan again. Conan is the dumbest person alive to fall for it one more time. But he got him. He didn't think he could do it because it was a podcast. But Paul Rudd still managed to figure out how to get him on it. It was awesome. But speaking of of Halloween, Frank wanted to mention really quick, Frank Huff, I am glad you didn't bring up Halloween 3 Season of the Witch. He also said that originally, which is true, he's right, the Halloween franchise was supposed to be an anthology series.
Right, because Michael Myers died in part 2, for real. He really did. But the producer, Mustafa Akkad, was like, you know what, more Michael Myers, let's do our thing. And Chris, the reason why I don't like Halloween Resurrection, I think is the worst, Michael Myers basically fulfilled his purpose. He killed Laurie Strode. So that's it. There's nothing more for you to do. That was his quest. His quest is complete. Why are you still killing people? It doesn't make any sense. Logically, he fulfilled his destiny. I killed my sister. It's over. She should literally just go in peace. But nope, I got to keep killing people.
Into that, yeah.
Well, it's like, Kevin, once you have like a Pringle, once you pop, you can't stop.
Yeah.
It's a Lay's. I bet you can't eat just one. I bet you can't kill just one sister. And then he's like, maybe there's more sisters out there I don't know about. I mean, if you already had a psychotic break, like this sumbitch obviously did,
right,
you're gonna, in your head, just imagine everybody's probably your sister at this point. So even if you killed your sister, you're so wackadoo that you think everybody looks like your sister, and you're like, well, did I kill my sister? Or is that guy over there my sister?
Well, I guess it's the Curse of Thorn then, going back to Halloween 5 and 6.
There you go.
So, This
And-
latest Halloween movie I saw, I don't know how it was that the people couldn't kill him. They hit him with everything but the kitchen sink, and it was just like.
Well, first of all, they were stupid. When you had them down, you keep going. You don't stop. I would have had I would have had a chainsaw with me. You know, I would have continued.
Didn't his fingers magically grow back? You remember he got his fingers shot off in the previous movie, and then he had his fingers again. Where did the fingers come from?
That's a good question. I guess he's a starfish now.
Mhm.
Those fingers were there. I'm telling you, I'm not exaggerating.
I guess he has some starfish ability or something.
Here's another one for you. Jamie Lee Curtis was in how many of these Halloween films?
Let me think about it. 1, 2, 6 now.
Yeah, 5, 6 altogether, and about to be 7, I guess.
Yeah.
So, was she his sister or no? Because
she was his biological sister.
Yeah, in the original set of movies, yes, and then in this set, they redid it. They're not related anymore.
What do you mean?
There's a problem. You see what I'm saying?
Wait a minute. Jamie Lee Curtis isn't related to who now?
Like you know how the original Halloween series, you know, Michael Myers and Laurie Strode, her character, they were related.
She's the baby sister that we didn't see as a baby in the original Halloween movie. It was like a background character.
Right.
Now till Halloween 2,
but in the new
sister.
2 new films that they put out in the third coming, they're not related.
Wait a minute. I thought that was a sequel to the original Halloween, like they nixed part 2 in the original one.
No. What they was, it's a direct sequel after the first one. So the second one
doesn't
exist. Doesn't exist. Yeah, so the 1978 movie is the only one that exists. So the sequel in 2, where they decided to have that plot twist, making them related.
So now she's a Laurie Strode who was biologically a Strode?
Yes.
I guess so.
That I didn't pick up on.
Yeah. It's bad. The remake, the redos, the whatever you want to call, they're awful. They're trash. They're really bad. Which is why I'm saying I don't think there's one particular sequel in this franchise that's something that you could say is, oh, that's great. And surprising, though, I think that if there would be one that you could say that with, it would probably be the third one, because it is unique and starkly different from everything else that came after it and before it. It's just separated itself from everything. So the third one actually gets us a hall pass, so to speak. But all the rest of them...
of a fictional character becoming the biological child of their fictional step parents.
I think we just blew Frank's mind. Is what's going on.
It's the first time I've ever heard of anything like that.
So
these people
we're talking about
the genome. Right.
Yeah, and we're talking about Jamie Lee Curtis. Now, I just watched a film called Everything Everywhere All at Once.
Oh, I want to see that.
And let me tell you, it is very, very good. I think, Chris, I think you'll like it very much.
That's what Michelle Yeoh, right?
Yes.
Oh, does it have Jamie Lee Curtis in it?
It does. And this is probably one of her best roles ever. Jamie Lee Curtis is fantastic in this film.
Yeah.
So if you're a fan of Halloween for Jamie Lee Curtis, then you should watch this film.
Oh, yeah. She was great in My Girl. I really liked her in that one.
That's true. She was really good in that. I forgot about that one.
She was good in True Lies as well.
That's the one that I brought up that I said I think is still better. But she's really good in this one. So I would definitely give it a watch if you like Jamie Lee Curtis and you appreciate her acting. She really goes all out in this one. You can tell she's having fun.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're going to move on from the Halloween debacle. Because obviously they are all not amazing.
Yeah, I had my mind on there for a second with the reboot.
Okay, so, well, since you brought up something, Frank, let's see. Do you have another one in mind you want to talk about?
Oh, that's on the list. Yeah, let's talk about Rocky V.
Oh yeah, there we go.
Go for it. Dun, dun, dun. I'm going for mine. Better go for yours.
Oh my God.
That was great.
So bad. Such a letdown after Rocky IV.
Yeah, let's talk about how much older Rocky's son is at the beginning of the film. His dad gets off the plane, and the son is
aged like 5 years.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah. And son, you're a teenager. It's been forever since I've seen you.
I know. So I guess he was in Russia for 5 years. Trained to fight Drago.
It was quite a beating he took. He had to recover. The doctors didn't clear him to travel by plane after that beating, because he did take quite a beating. And
he did.
Yeah, so at the beginning of the film, we see him. He's got a case of the shakes. He's in the shower. He's like, "Oh, Adrian, one time Mickey told me that you can fight so hard that your spirit leaves your body." And Adrian's like, "I don't know what to do." She calls in the coach, Apollo's coach, Tony. She's like, "Tony, what do we do?" Or Duke. The guy had two names in the series, Tony and Duke. It was like something that you didn't pick up. Like, I don't know what to do. Just get on the plane. So he gets back, and then you have the fake Don King, who's immediately.
Oh yeah. His name was George Washington Duke.
Yeah, George Washington Duke. Yeah. This will be the greatest thing we've ever seen. You got to fight this guy. And Adrian's like, "No, you're retired." And Rocky's like, "Adrian, I got to fight."
I know. And then he found out that his jackass brother-in-law lost all the money.
Yes, he trusted somebody. He trusted like a Bernie Madoff type, and the guy made off with the money.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
And then they have this little subplot where his son's being picked on at his new school because he's no longer a rich kid anymore, and they're stealing his stuff. And
this is kind of an amazing thing if you think about it with Rocky, how bad this film was, and that Sylvester Stallone was able to turn the boat around and actually save the franchise.
16 years later.
Yeah. Isn't that something?
Yeah, and they killed off Adrian, which I thought was unnecessary since Talia Shire was still alive.
Yeah.
I think they should have killed her off. She was integral in the series.
I mean, I know they wanted to make things, more pivotal and more difficult for him.
Yeah, but they systematically killed everybody in his life. He literally has. The only thing left is Paulie's robot, right?
The series, or is it separate?
And his son.
I mean, somebody explain this to me. Adrian's dead, but Spider Rico is still alive. It's just not fair.
No, it's not. It's not fair. Alex Banquita's in the house, everybody. Hello, Alex. Thanks for joining.
What's up, Alex?
Alex, you missed an amazing weekend. Kevin and I were both there working at We Can Be Heroes comic book shop in Chatsworth, California, and hanging out at Spiro's Heroes, also in Chatsworth, California. Just having a grand old time at their Block Fest. Ben Bishop was there. The artist for Last Ronin. And by the way, if you haven't seen our live, we went live with Ben during the event on Saturday, and it is up on our YouTube channel under Rumble Spoon Productions. It's short and sweet, but you can check it out on there, where we do a quick interview with Ben. And we did interview a couple other people. Kevin went around and interviewed, I think, some wrestlers and stuff. So it should be a really good time the next 3 to 4 weeks when we're putting out this content that we've recorded that we had a lot of fun doing. So I hope you all enjoy it. And he says he's been watching. So great, cool. Yeah, I know. I wasn't trying to rub it in, Alex. Now, if I really was trying to rub it in, I'd show you right now what I got. Because while I was there, all these Ninja Turtle artists, right? Creators, writers, and stuff. Look at this. It is right here. Is the Turtle van my mom and dad got me. Signed by Ben Bishop and Tom Waltz and Chris Johnson and Cyril Nelly. And one Ernie Reyes Jr. on the top. So, pretty cool little novelty thing I got everybody to sign. And I'm going to continue to get Turtle creators to sign this probably throughout the years now.
Frank, one thing I do appreciate is the goofy names that Sylvester Stallone gives his opponents in these movies. Like this one, it's Tommy Gunn, and Rocky 6. This is my favorite one, Mason the Line Dixon.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. It's yeah, man. Nobody crosses the line.
Yeah, no one crosses the line
Don't cross the line.
He takes his life so seriously. He's like, oh man, I don't have any more great opponents. That would never happen in real life. In real life, they're trying to protect the champion from people. They're like these underdogs.
That's what Rocky 3 was all about. Rocky 3 was all about that. Mick was trying to protect them. That's why Clubber Lang was like, you haven't fought anybody, you know.
Yeah, you know that happened with George Foreman and Larry Holmes. Larry Holmes' camp would not let him fight George Foreman. And the two of them were the same age, so you couldn't use age as an excuse. They just didn't want Larry Holmes to get destroyed by George Foreman, so they would never let him fight him. This is a side note.
Well, it worked out.
Yeah, he never got destroyed by George Foreman. I guess that's his claim to fame. I
Oh,
was
wow.
the greatest. Yeah.
So, Alex says that, did you hear that Kevin Eastman is bringing a book to Scout Comics? Didn't hear that at all. That's exciting.
There's some great characters. I really like Casey Jones.
Yeah, Casey Jones is great. Somebody brought in Casey Jones' hockey mask and had them sign it too, which I thought was a really cool thing to do. So yeah, we have that interview up. We have a few more interviews that are coming soon. And as far as Rocky's concerned, I feel like I need to go back and rewatch this particular Rocky, because is it that bad, or were we just expecting greatness?
It's
both.
bad.
It's both.
It's such a deviation from the first 4 films, and many would say that they should have stopped at 3, because
it's true. 3 was the best sequel.
Yeah, because it's in 4, it makes Apollo Creed look like a fool. You can't go from being a master in part 3 to a fool in part 4. Right. You can't. That's just such a disgrace.
And he illogically fought Drago. It didn't make any sense. Like, what do you have to prove? It doesn't make any sense whatsoever. When you think about it now, it makes no sense.
He's this aging guy. He's done everything. And what he says is, well, if I retire, then I die inside. And if you don't retire, you die outside.
Here's the thing, though. You ever watch any of those documentaries with professional wrestlers? You know exactly why they never quit, and why so many of them die so young. Because they can't give it up. There's an addiction there. It's a euphoric type feeling of being seen and being known. It's for people that all their lives have strived to be famous in a way, to be recognized, and to finally get that, and then to walk away from it. Yeah. And it's unfortunate because there's so much of a physicality, there's so much of a physical aspect that goes into that fame of being a wrestler, that they could possibly die on the mat at any moment, because they're putting everything. And I always told people that wrestling is a soap opera for action junkies.
Yeah.
100%. Like, it is plotted out loosely, and then, there's a little ad-libs and stuff, but primarily it's plotted out, and then there's these fights. And these fights are as real as they can get. I mean, Kevin and I were there. They did have wrestling at this event over the weekend that we went to. And they had a ring and everything, and we were in the back room, in the green room, where the wrestlers were literally practicing their moves. Yep, and this guy's like, yeah, I'm going to DDT you. And the other guy's like, I don't know about that. I've never been DDT'd. I don't know if I'm ready. And, and it sounded almost like, Jesus, these guys, But but he was serious. He was nervous because he has to get himself into the right position to be available for that DDT, because one move off, one fraction,
break his neck.
He could break his neck. So it's and then at that point, when someone says that, you don't want to say no, because then you're weak and you're seen as like, oh, this guy's a hack. He's not a talent. But if he gets his neck broken, oh well, on to the next one. It's a really rough life, the wrestling world.
Yeah, if anyone's
they have to wrestle hurt too all the time, or they'll lose their spot.
Yeah, there's no off season.
If anyone's interested in the inner workings of the wrestling world, and you have access to Stars, watch the show Heels. Really, really good show, and a really good look, dramatization of the behind the scenes aspect of wrestling.
Yeah.
Yeah,
What really got me to thinking was that Beyond the Mat documentary. That really changed.
Oh yeah, that was good. That was
Yes.
a good one. That was good.
I'll tell you. Oh, you were going to say, Donald, something?
Well, yeah, I mean, no, I agree with you. The Beyond the Mat is a fantastic documentary. I think we got to see, if I recall, it was Terry Funk, aka Chainsaw Charlie at the time, and about him, just his knees were gone. He had to retire, and you saw how hard he fought to not want to retire, how he wanted to stay in it. And then eventually, throughout the process of this film, he retired. And then at the end, when they're listing everything, they go, "Oh, and Terry Funk came back and retired after."
In action somewhere.
Yep.
And it was crazy. He kept coming back. I think he was wrestling like at 72 years old. He was still wrestling. It was crazy.
Yeah. Now, unfortunately, he's got Alzheimer's. So
he's not doing well.
Wrestle. And hopefully he doesn't try to. Like, they got people stopping him, I would hope.
I would hope so, too.
Yeah.
Alex Banquita says The Dark Side of the Ring is great, too.
Yep. Oh, yeah. Great series. Great series on Vice. Oh, yeah. Great series.
Yeah, I haven't seen any of that.
That was great.
I've not seen any of that. We have time for just probably one or two more here that we'll talk about. We have a whole list, guys, so if you liked this, if you enjoyed these little tidbits with a little bit of information speckled in, let us know. Let us know on Facebook, on Friends of the Real Short Box. Alex, I know you don't have social media, so let us know in here in the chats as well. Anybody, if you enjoyed this one, that we can do a part 2 or part 3, because let's be honest, there's a lot of bad sequels. And we were talking about remakes, and I think we're going to do a best and worst of remake edition 2 at some point as well. So that'll be fun. And while I'm talking, because this is what I seem to do a lot of, and I'm sorry about that, we do have a few sponsors. Now, one of our sponsors is Splattered Frog. They're a brewing company. I got the hat right here. So you go to splatteredfrog.com, and you type in the coupon code SHORTBOX. That saves you 20% off on your order. And that's a good sizable amount. That basically, so basically you can get, with shipping, you can get a hat for $20, just like we have right here. Kevin, if you're showing off your hat, I don't know if you have or not, but I'll show mine since you got the background. And the beauty of it is this is the mesh one, which they have back in stock, and I love it because I put pins on here, little small pins on my hat, and I can put a bunch on there if I want, but I usually just choose one every week that I want to put on. Like
that's
here.
A great conversation starter, isn't it, Donald?
Right. Yeah, absolutely. I got all kinds of different pins I can put on there and then have a good time with, and people will be like, "Oh, where's that from?" or whatever. Yeah, absolutely. Hat with shipping included, with the code SHORTBOX on the site splatteredfrog.com is about $20. That's not a bad price for a quality hat like this. It's a nice hat, guys. I've had mine for like over a year now, and it's still in really good shape. So go to there. Another one that I'm going to recommend is Half's Hot Sauce. Now, Kevin, if anybody knows anything about Kevin, it's how much Kevin loves hot sauce. So Kevin, go ahead and mention this hot sauce.
Oh, I just love hot sauce. I love the blueberry version of it. I love the pickle hot sauce. Oh, there's some wonderful varieties out there that you have to try. I think I was like 6 or 7 varieties of that Half's hot sauce.
More like 10 to 12 now.
Oh, 10 to 12, even more. Oh my
He's got Main Squeeze, which is a watermelon rhubarb. He's got the Old Razzle Dazzle, which is a raspberry hot sauce. He's got Pineapple, that's a pineapple hot sauce. Indigo Fire is a blueberry hot sauce. Trippy Pickle is a pickle hot sauce. Sugar Rush Peach, of course, is a peach hot sauce, one of my personal favorites. They're all fantastic hot sauces. I even did a podcast with him. So if you go to his channel, the Half's Hot Sauce channel, he will. You can see the interview that I did, and I'm gonna sneeze. Hiya! Sorry about that. Yeah, talking about the hot sauce, I got my sinuses going. But yeah, so it's a great hot sauce company. You type in coupon code Donald Hiccups, save 10% off your order. So you can get a bottle of hot sauce for under $10, and you get it shipped to you. They offer holsters now. You can get leather-bound holsters to put your hot sauce in and carry on your belt.
Wow.
Yeah. If you're hardcore like that, you can do whatever you want. It's great. It's a great hot sauce company. Highly recommend it. And speaking of Splattered Frog, they are going to be doing. We are working on a combined pin, a Real Short Box Splattered Frog hat pin that you can put on the hats too. We are working on that. That is in the works. I'm excited. Josh, who owns Splattered Frog, is excited. And many great things to come between our collaboration and sponsorship. So thanks to Splattered Frog for that. And let's go ahead. Anybody have one more that they want to talk about before we call it a night?
How about Independence Day resurgence?
How about we don't talk? How about we don't give it the credit it deserves and not even consider it a movie?
I mean,
I thought the best part of that movie was the African man with the 2 machetes.
Oh yeah. It's.
Awesome.
I mean, you had 20 years to write a sequel and have a decent script, and this is the best you can do. I wonder why Will Smith didn't come back. He read it and said, "You know what? It's a piece of garbage. I'm not doing this."
Yeah, Will Smith decided he would rather do a sequel to
Bad Boys, right?
the zombie movie than this.
Oh, zombie movies. Oh yeah, true.
I
What
just
was that
thought
zombie
to
movie?
myself,
It was,
all the trouble that the Americans had killing the aliens, and here's this guy in Africa who just wiped them out with 2 machetes.
Yeah.
That's it.
Thankfully, one of the cast members is on The Boys. I just realized that now. Jesse Usher. He played Will Smith's son in the movie. He's on The Boys as A-Train.
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome. That's right. Yeah. I thought I'd recognize him from somewhere. Yeah.
And it's good to see Brent Spinner still getting work. You know, Commander Data from Star Trek. The funny thing is, how is he still alive? I thought he died in the first movie.
And that's what I thought. They said, oh, we didn't want to kill Dr. Okian. So what we did is we had him wake up from a coma gay. That was interesting.
Oh, the best part is they killed Jasmine. They killed Vivica Fox's character off. That's messed up. But they wouldn't kill off Judd Hirsch's character though. He's old. Why not kill him off too if you're gonna do that?
Man, yeah. Some of the deaths in that were questionable, and some of the people they let live, it was questionable.
And then Bill Pullman's president. What's his name? President.
Yeah, it's a catchy name, but I forget what it is.
President Pullman.
Yeah, let's just call him that.
We just call him whatever we want. Let's make up a name. Nobody cares. Bill Pullman.
Anyway,
yeah.
So that guy.
Paxton?
Yeah.
What a trash film. This movie is just awful. You're right. They spent... And that's a problem. Coming to America, by the way, is supposed to be hot trash. Anchorman 2 was hot trash. Anything that they take 10 plus years to develop and put a sequel out to is never good.
Except for Ghostbusters.
That's...
Ghostbusters Afterlife is a little different.
Trash. It's not trash.
Here's the thing, though. No, guys. Think about it. We had the all-ladies version of Ghostbusters, and that was awful, right? Can we agree? That was bad. And it wasn't because it was all women. It's because the script was just bad. Now, that was 20-plus years when that came back. And then they said, oh, God, we have to fix this if we want to continue with the franchise. So that's a different story, Chris. You can't count that one.
Yeah, the fixes are usually better. Like, if you take, for example, The Mandalorian is a fix of the
sequel trilogy, in a way.
Yeah, I see it as a pretty decent fix if you're going to look at it as a fix, because it is much better writing and everything.
Right, I agree.
I agree too.
Yeah, people should be fired. Like whoever Fox executives greenlighted this movie, well, maybe they were fired, but they should have been fired. It didn't make any sense to spend $200-something million on this trash. And here's the best part: they were so arrogant that they already had a part 3 plan. You know how the movie ended? They kind of ended in a what's the word I'm looking for? When I can't find the word. They ended in such a way where there's going to be a part 3 or a next movie, or they're going to make another movie. These guys were so arrogant. They really thought that they're going to fool the audience with this piece of trash. And guess what? It didn't work. It bombed the box office, so there'll never be a part 3.
Yeah, and the thing was, they wanted part 3 to be where we all go off to some distant galaxy and fight the aliens.
Some distant planet. I think they're going to go to their home planet or something like that and take the fight there.
Oh, man. I think the humans would get wiped out. know.
I know what's funny. I would root for the aliens to wipe out the humans.
Yeah,
I would
just so they could stop.
root on the aliens. Yes.
Yeah.
I'll go full xenomorph on them. Spit out acid blood and everything. Kill them all.
Yeah.
Yeah. Those aliens are pretty formidable in that series there.
So Trevor said he's excited. Trevor, I don't know what you're excited about. So if you could let us know, perhaps it's us.
I think he wants to watch the movie. He wants to watch Independence Day Resurgence.
Oh, maybe. Trevor, really that excited about Independence Day 2?
Good luck.
I thought he was saying he was excited about the prospect of Independence Day 3.
Janet says, if anything, we can laugh at these terrible sequels. We need bad movie night to make a resurgence. And Janet's referencing, back in the day, I used to do a bad movie night where I'd invite people over and we would just drink and laugh at these terrible films. It was actually a really good time. So maybe I should, at some point.
Yeah. I'll tell you, where you can see a lot of bad movies is on Tubi. And I do like some of the movies on Tubi. You can see a whole lot of terrible movies.
That's a good one.
Tubi. Movies that are so bad they're almost good. Tubi.
Alex says the Super Mario movie had a part 2 planned.
Well,
I'm going to tell you right now, I thoroughly enjoyed the first Super Mario Brothers. Fight me.
Why?
Fight me.
Why? We'll fight. Why?
I thought it was great. I don't know what it was about it that I loved so much, but I think it was
Dennis Hopper? Was Dennis Hopper?
No, I think it was just its silliness, just that it embraced it so well. Mario, and Luigi Mario. Someone, when they wrote this script, they were having a good damn time. You know, they were like, what's his last name?
Those early 90s video
Mario.
game movies did not translate well, I thought. Ugh. Double Dragon.
Street Fighter. You know, one with Raul Julia, unfortunately, that being his last movie.
Yikes, that was awful.
No,
I think I might have liked it more when I saw it in the movies, but then over the years, it didn't age well at all with me. Ugh.
Yeah, no.
It's just, they couldn't do movies that well, and the CGI was still sort of in its infancy and just didn't go well at all.
Well, either way, Alex, it was still a fun time. Mario, Luigi Mario, Princess Peach, and King Koopa, who eventually turned into a dinosaur. I like the fact that they had them like human-esque with like tongues and stuff, dinosaur tongues, and then what was not was Walk a Dinosaur, like playing and them all dancing to it and stuff, and then the elevator music where they're making the Koopa Troopers like sway back and forth so they can enjoy themselves and they can move past them and get out. It's so fun, so creative. I challenge any of you, have 3 or 4 to 6 beers and sit down and watch the Super Mario Brothers movie and not have a good time. I dare you.
You know what? Don't listen to them. Just watch the cartoon instead from the late 80s, early 90s. That's better.
Or let's wait and see how the new movie turns out.
Captain Lou Albano,
Alex,
right?
see, thank you, Alex. He says, Donald is selling me. I'm going to pin this. Donald is selling me. I want to rewatch it. Alex, you should. Definitely rewatch it.
Don't do it,
man.
Alex. Don't do it.
You'll have a blast, man. 6 to
watch
8
Street
beers.
Fighter instead.
And enjoy yourself.
Make it a drinking game. Every time you roll your eyes, take a drink.
He's doing it. Alex says he's doing it. He's doing it this week. You know what, Alex? I'll join you. You let me know when you're going to do it, and I'll try to join you at the same time, and we'll just text back and forth while we're watching it. I think that's...
Yeah, what I didn't understand in the Street Fighter movie is why some of the villains were like heroes. I was like, this is off.
I think we'll do that, and any of you guys out there that want to join us, we'll join in some form of a chat or something. We can all be a part of this fun event. I know Kevin wants to watch Super Mario Brothers again. He loves it.
No, not at all.
Probably one of his favorites of all time.
I'm actually gonna watch Street Fighter instead.
Thank you, Alex. I know this isn't an idea. Maria's probably going to be part of that too. She just doesn't know it. She's going to be so
I think Maria's going to rather watch Street Fighter or Mortal Kombat Annihilation instead.
I doubt it. I wouldn't know any single person in all of the universe that would want to choose Mortal Kombat or Street Fighter, the second Mortal Kombat or Street Fighter over Super Mario Brothers.
What's amusing is they tried to dye Van Damme's hair blonde and it ended up reddish. So he's this reddish Guile, and then his hair isn't like long enough when it's spiked, so they're like, what the hell is this? This is Van Damme with a bad hair dye.
Yeah, it's awful.
Calculus has joined us. Thank you for joining, Calculus. We're getting ready to wrap this up, actually. For those of you... Alex says the cocaine made it red. So, those of you that are just joining us, Calculus says, I watched the Mortal Kombat movie I regretted my entire life. Which one, though? There was 3 now. There's 3 with a 4th coming.
I'm assuming it's the second one.
Probably Annihilation, right? Probably. So for those of you just tuning in, I want to briefly announce the winner of last week's Brawl, the Battle of the Brand Icons. So I'm going to do that again really quickly. So for those of you just tuning in that didn't catch it earlier, I'm going to put it on now. Yes, that's right. Tony the Tiger won this past Battle of the Brand Icons. So those of you just tuning in, now you know. And if you haven't watched, please tune in. And we have so much stuff coming out, right, Chris? We've got a lot of content that we just keep churning out here lately. We're on fire with this stuff. We've got a lot of interviews. We've got a giant Kinder Egg unboxing, guys. Like a giant Kinder Egg unboxing that we recorded that we're going to do. So you can check that out. That was a lot of fun. We have a podcast coming out later this week about a favorite Ninja Turtle. This one, Chris's brother and master brewer, Josh Turner, actually chose Leonardo as his favorite superhero. So we do a whole podcast talking about the Ninja Turtles and Leonardo specifically and why he loved that character so much. That is available in video form on YouTube come Thursday. It will also be available in just strictly podcast audio form on iHeartRadio, Spotify, Spreaker, etc., etc., etc. It'll be on all the major platforms. You can check it out at any point in time.
I think we got one for Friday, too. I think one's coming out on Friday as well.
Yeah, we'll have another one on Friday. We're putting out a good bit of content because we want to compete with some of the big boys and see if we can become the big boy too. We want to be a big boy too. I don't know. I got nothing. Sorry. But I think that's going to do us. Thank you, guys. Calculus says, if it is any turtle except Donnie, your opinion is wrong. And Calculus, I 100% agree, by the way. Donatello is my favorite Ninja Turtle. I have a giant Donatello right there up on my bookshelf. If you can't see it, it's totally Donatello. And right here, I'm reaching for it right now. Look at this. Donatello. Big fan, buddy. Big fan. So, for all those, thanks, Enrique.
Alex cracks me up. He says Tony the Tiger created the Frosted Flakes in Rome and brought them to the States through Ellis Island.
What? By the way, Alex is totally in. He says he's going to have some drinks and we're going to do the Super Mario Brothers. Alex, text me. Let's figure this out. Anybody else that wants to be a part of that doesn't have our information, reach out to me on Friends of the Real Short Box on Facebook. If you're not a part of that, reach out to us on Instagram or our regular Short Box page on Facebook. You can also hit us up on Twitter and let us know that you want to be a part of a watch party and we can get something together and have a good time with it. I think it'd be fun. So thank you all for tuning in and listening and watching us. We are the Real Short Box Live. And thank you, Frank, for being a part of this. We really appreciate you.
Frank.
Yeah, thanks for having me, man. I had a lot of fun talking about terrible sequels.
Yes. And we've got many more. So if you guys like this podcast and you want us to talk about more awful sequels like this, there are so many more, guys.
The list goes on and on. Just look at Tubi.
Yeah. It goes on and on and on and on.
Please leave a like before you leave, and please subscribe if you have not done so.
Yes, thank you so much. And also, if we don't see you out and about anytime soon, perhaps we'll see you
at the defiant, delightful, determined, but never difficult comic book shop.
Good night, everybody.
Night.